Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday the 18th, just after 8:30. It's about 8:36 right now. So, so far in the morning when I do a review of the day before, which is for me very important, I've been kind of cutting it close, getting towards the open and having the chance to do our homework. So I'm going to do it backwards today. I'm going to do the homework first, and then I'm going to do the review. Also, I found an app that should help you guys keep track of where my mouse is on the screen. Hopefully, that's going to help. Um, I noticed yesterday that as I was talking about stuff, the way the cursor works and how the crosshairs kind of move around all these charts at once, that it can get a little confusing, and you'll see what I mean when we go to the other screen. But hopefully this helps. I also got a nice little app that I can draw stuff on here uh, as I want to, and we'll see how that goes too. Okay, so actually, let me see something here. It's not going to work. All right, I'll worry about the drawing later. Okay, so let's take a look at what happened yesterday. Yesterday is right off the bat, just looking at this, yesterday is a really good example of bad homework. And I didn't realize it until pretty much right now. So yesterday we were talking about how we draw out our swings and microcomposites, and just a quick review. These dash and dotted lines are microcomposite VPOCs. These dotted lines are former VPOCs of the daily session, and these dash lines are former swing highs or lows. Doesn't really matter to me if it's a high or a low. But let's take a look at what I didn't do yesterday. And if you're looking at the chart and you're looking at where my mouse is right now, you probably should see it. So I messed up. Um, and I think maybe ironically it has to do with the fact of what I was saying, that I don't leave myself enough time to do the homework. But um, you know, really, let's draw it proper now. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clear. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Let me just turn one thing off here. Okay, I'm going to clear these swings. I'm going to add them back. And the reason I'm doing it is this. I want to show where that swing starts from. So our swings are going to be red, dash. I believe this is the one I want. Okay, so now I have a clear representation of where that particular swing is starting from. So let's move forward. I'm going to take another one off right here. And it's awfully close, but it's good to know that there were a couple of swings there. And here's the one that I messed up on. Okay. Let's get rid of this one down here. Let me see what my shortcut key is. Now we have a swing that's in here, but this swing is no longer being respected as a supportive resistance level, so we're going to pull that one out. So let's take a look. First thing we're going to do is we're going to stretch out our profile so that it includes yesterday's trading. Absolutely stayed within balance. We are really getting balanced in here, and I'll show you what I do in a case like this. And when you have these microcomposite VPOCs on here, it doesn't really matter where they stem from, but might be nice. It might be nice to be able to do that. So for this next one, I'm going to draw, and when I have a little more time, we'll go through. Maybe I'll just do a session one day where, or one night, where all I'll do is come onto this chart, empty it out, and redo it so you guys can see how that's done. So because we have such real perfect balance amongst these four here, just for a minute, I'm going to get this out of the way, and I'm going to draw a profile right here. And if you're not familiar with the software I'm using, that's okay. And what's nice is this VPOC in this microcomposite is exactly the same as the VPOC that is already on the screen, which is coming from the microcomposite that encompasses all of the trading going back now. And we could just continue to stay in this balance here, going back now to December 10th or so. So let's take a look at where we're starting. One thing I'm very disappointed in myself with. If you heard me talk about yesterday, I gave myself a D for yesterday's trading. That is now becoming an F. With the last trade that we had on, if you remember when I walked away, we had a short on that we had a stop loss and profit target, and we ended up hitting our profit target. We ended up the day up slightly, maybe down a little bit after commissions. But here's the great news about that. Legitimately, yesterday's trading for me was an F. The way I made the decisions, some of the decisions that I made, very much not what the end results should be. Sloppy trading on my part, and we broke even. And that's not to say we're not going to have down days. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of them, especially at this stage in our trading development. But what that tells me, for me, my biggest flaw in trading is my lack of patience. And if you were watching yesterday, you saw that kind of creep up when we had that one ball breakdown lower, and I fairly quickly got into a trade. That's that old So's trading mentality where, oh shit, I see momentum, let me fade it. I think I can get it quickly. Nah, that doesn't work with this. So although there were some potentially legitimate reasons to start watching for a trade there, certainly one sharp move is not a trade setup for the way I'm looking to trade. So the reason why I went from a D to an F is this. Yesterday, and I'll try to get to do the review a little bit. So let me get through this homework here. I'm sorry. I apologize, guys. Let me try to focus here a little bit. So let's get to drawing tool. Okay. So what we noticed yesterday is we opened, and when we opened, we talked about that because we're opening inside the range of this day, we're going to look to template this day. And because, like a moron, I didn't draw out this swing high, I wasn't even looking for it, which is just so fucking stupid. When you talk about something, especially for me, when I talk about something, I need to pay attention to that. And I don't know how I missed this. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but so be it. It's what happened. So if you look at yesterday, fairly small range. Yesterday, let me see what that range actually was. One second. Yesterday's range, 108 ticks. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. That's not too small. That's pretty good. That's a little below average, but that's a decent range. Definitely leads to plenty of good trade opportunity. So I stand corrected there. Sorry about that. But we stay. Certainly looks like a nice downtrending day. We do get a correction in here. I don't know. I'm not all that well versed with the day types in volume profile as to normal, extreme, neutral. I guess it wouldn't take long to actually start using those properly. But for now, I'm really not worrying about that. But what we did is we stayed inside the balance of these 3 trading sessions, right? Remember, this was Martin Luther King Day, so we really didn't get much activity here. So what we're looking at now, overnight, we're currently trading at 51.64. Holy crap, 51.64. We're way down here. So we're in this void. If you remember, if you listened a few days ago, we were talking about how we have a complete void of price levels in here. No VPOCs, no no market composite epochs, no swings. And we were talking about that if we do get into this area, that the push would be swift. And that looks to be exactly what happened. But okay, so let's just take a look at where we are and kind of formulate a plan from there. Let me go mark overnight high and low so we have it on this chart. And there's our swift move down. I'm guessing there was some type of news release at this time of night, but we'll check that in a second as well. So remember, for our overnights, for our overnight levels, we use orange. I'm gonna go slightly brighter orange. Orange, solid horizontal lines, and they represent overnight low and overnight high. The reason we try to color coordinate, we don't try, the reason we color coordinate is so that we can just focus on one chart. If you really wanted to, when you talk about, some people don't like indicators, right? Like I have these, I think they're called MACD BDs or something like that. And it's just the indicator I choose to use. I don't believe it's necessarily better than RSI or stochastics or anything like that, but I use that to try to just give me some type of ability to stay patient. Truth be told, we really don't need those. But I do. I need them. I need to find excuses to stay patient and to be better at that. So, but that being said, I don't want to have to look at 5 charts at once. I want to be able to look at one chart, one time frame. So what you could do, the reason I color coordinate everything is when I go and do my homework on the longer time frame, I take the price levels that matter to me from that longer time frame and I transpose them onto the shorter time frame by color coordinating. Now, where the hell is my overnight high and low? You may be asking, and the answer is I have no idea. There we go. Okay, that's almost good enough. Now I'll put select it again. This will just fix it. Okay. So now here we can see overnight high and low. We're currently very close to overnight low. So let's start drawing out some hypotheses. We are opening way out of range. We're opening below both the low and the close of yesterday. Once you're out of range, you're automatically out of value. So we're going to start with looking at a open, test the overnight low, test this epoch, hold here, pull back up. Maybe we'll take a look at this here, this 5180 as a potential composite high volume node. We'll see if we maybe chop around here. And I know we have some news today, so that should be pretty interesting. But ultimately, I would I'm gonna say we're gonna for this expectation, we're gonna look to see about half back of the gap, half back of this move to hold, which I think is gonna put us somewhere around here, and then maybe make its way back down and test lower and start seeing if we can come down and test this VPOC, test this swing low. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to draw that. And possibly even further down there. Let me scrunch this up a little. Okay, so draw that out one more time just to prove to you that although I do kind of make this up as I go, meaning I don't plan these ahead. I look at what I see and I kind of go from there. But so again, test overnight low, test this VPOC, have this hold, come up, test this high volume node, chop around, push down, fail at what was initially support, and then start testing them. If we end up testing down here, the break below here puts us into a whole other area of balance, and I won't get into that right now. If that happens in the first hour, hopefully we get the chance to take advantage of it. But that'll be an awful lot of training. We'll call this one number 1. Okay. Hypothesis number 2. We open, break immediately below. This holds as resistance, and then we start making our way down. And I have to tell you, as we break through here, I would not be surprised to see this move happen fairly quickly. We have a fairly low volume area here, and when I think if we do get down here, we'll start chopping. I would expect to see buyers come in here, because if this is not protected, I'm going to be real curious to see what happens if we get below there. But this will be expectation number 2, and that's going to be opening drive down through the overnight high, retest back up to it, hold, and then start making our way down. Might get a little chop in this area, with this high volume. Also, I'll pull up the news in a minute, but I believe we do have a fair amount of news coming out today, so that might slow things down in the morning. Third hypothesis is we open and we immediately start trying to take back this gap. We might come test and hold here. Again, I think this VPOC, this high volume node in the composite might be a point of congestion, and then potentially we start making our way all the way back. Because keep in mind, this is the balance this is the most traded area for this micro composite. So right now we are well below value, based on this micro composite. We don't have a ton of volume down here, right? So we're going to want to see if we start pushing back up, all this congestion up here. It's not surprising that we have a big move. The longer we stay in balance, the sharper the moves tend to be. But I would have liked to have been able to have a part of that move during the day, but that's okay. Depending on regardless of what causes this move, I shouldn't say that. If buyers step in, where the market is trading the most is up in this region here. So we do have the potential of an open something like this, and then starting to push back up. That'll be the 3 that we use for now. Here's what we need to pay very close attention to. Let's actually we're going to create a new line now, a new defined line, and we're going to use dashed lines. No, we're going to use horizontal lines. I actually don't know what these horizontal lines are down here. I'll have to try to remember what that was, but that's okay. Horizontal lines in green are going to be high volume nodes. In red are going to be low volume nodes off of the composite. And we're going to keep them nice and thick so we can see them. So we're going to throw one here. We're going to throw one here. Oh. That's not what I want it to be. Still with me? Okay. And I'm adding this in here now in particular because I got nothing here. I got no levels here, and it's not that I'm trying to create some, but I need something to lean on, and if we don't have anything in a case like this, and maybe we don't, then potentially we really have to sit on our hands, especially trying to take short trades as if we open and we start pushing up and we try to level off. If we're not using this, and I am okay with using this as a potential spot. I'm okay with using actually all of these low volume nodes as well. I don't usually look so much at the composite. I mean, I keep it in mind as a reference, no doubt. But let's take a look. We'll pay attention today to see what happens. We'll see if these levels hold in particular. Those are a little too thick. That's better. What time we got? 5 minutes. Okay, good. So unfortunately, I'm not going to have much of a chance to do a trade review from yesterday. I am going to want to take a look. I have not yet looked to see how different the day would have panned out. How different the day would have panned out by recognizing that area. But I know it's going to change because I remember when we were trading yesterday what the mindset was. Meaning, here, I'll show you. We do have a few minutes. I remember while we were doing this, while we were trading in the morning, my mindset was, well, okay, we have nothing above us, right? So, oh wait a minute, why is it not being represented here? Hang on, I wonder if that's. wonder if the way I drew it changes the fact that it goes on all charts. Oh, right, there we go. It'll pop up. As it should. Why is it not? Oh, that's why. Still hear me? Good. Okay. So when we were looking at this yesterday and we started trading, we started pushing up and we had nothing here. I was very careful about looking to get into a short because my stop would have to be all the way up here. Well, let me show you why that is incorrect now, because I do have something here that I can lean on. So now when we're coming up and we're trading up to here and we touch and hit this and we form, a clear hold of that. Now on a pullback, I can start looking for shorts. I can start looking to go short on I can start looking to go short on this nice bearish candle here, because we've hit the resistance. We get a nice bear candle. I can enter my first short. I have a reasonable area to place a stop, other than just the fact that it's a daily high. We took a short somewhere near the overnight high yesterday and said, well, we got to keep our stop really, really close because I got nothing above it. Well, that's bullshit. We could have scaled now. Now we have a scaling point. We could have scaled into the first short at the overnight high, second short up towards, in this range, third short up here, stop above here, and would have been a perfect fucking trade. Completely changes the complexion of the day, because now we're saying, all right, we tested to a level. That level held. Now we're going to expect to come down and test to another level. Yesterday we were saying, well, we just kind of stopped short in here. We didn't get anywhere. So yeah, we tested higher. Now we're going to come down and let's see what happens. This now, once this holds and we create a lower low, lower high, and we start pushing down, yes, no matter whether we have this level or not, this should look like a downtrend. But I was still looking and saying, are we going to get this push? Are we going to get a push higher now to get to a level? And we didn't, but we didn't need to. We had already gotten to a level. So big, huge mistake on my part. Absolutely piss poor. Which happens. I'm not saying this to beat myself up. That's not the point of this at all. But it just goes to show bad homework leads to bad trading. But I mean, as stupid as this sounds, this one line here right now completely changes how this chart looks to me while I'm looking at this. Even in hindsight, without this line up here, without this line here, I see no trade up here. It's just okay. It happens to be the high a day, but at this second, I don't know it's high a day. Well, now I have a reason to believe that we've gotten too high of day, or at least high of a current move. Why it has a reason to turn around here. Then when we start coming down and we start getting our slow down, little consolidation. Well, now I'm expecting us to stay heading down because I want to see if we're going to test this next level below us. And what's happening here? Consolidation, breakout, pull back. I don't know that this was enough to get a pullback short. Consolidation, breakout, pullback short. This might have taken too long. Actually, I don't know. Maybe in here we would have taken some type of a position. But see, it's complete. Where when I was trading it, if you remember yesterday, it was okay. Consolidation. I'm expecting us to get another move up here. I'm expecting us to get above here. Oh, snap down. Wait a minute. Here's a nice little trap. We had a long liquidation. Oh shit, I couldn't remember what it was called yesterday. Sorry. Long liquidation below here when the stops got run. So we had a quick moving price down. Hang on, let me just see what time it is. With me, I can start yapping. It's 9 o'clock. Sorry. Okay, let's pay attention to what's going on here. So we open, we're testing overnight low, we're testing this VPOC that we had down here. We're watching to see if this area, we're going to come back above this now and create support. down here? Or are we going to come below here and start making our way down into these other levels that we expect to try to test? What I have to do is move my overnight low, because this is actually where it ended. I had from where we drew it, we actually come below there. Okay, so came down past overnight low. We held this VPOC, so we are going to start watching potentially for some divergence. Let me make this chart the proper size here. Sorry. There we go. Much better. All right, so we're watching here. This looks like it could potentially be setting up for a nice long here. That's a good strong candle, strong bullish candle off of this here, this former VPOC, potentially holding as support. So much for that strong bullish candle. There's a difference between setting up beginning of a setup and an actual setup. We don't have any divergence. It's too early for divergence. It's only been a couple of minutes. A little, if we tighten this up a little just to kind of get more of a grand view, certainly we are in a downtrend. I mean, we can just tell by the size of the gap that we have at the open. I mean, I can't even see yesterday's low or close on the chart yet, can I? No, yeah, they're both way up here. Some overlapping bars here. One potential thing we might have setting up here is a trap down. I was looking to see maybe we get a trap down to move up. The other setup with this chop is, oh, let's pull up. Sorry. Again, I start yapping, and the next thing you know, I want to pull up the news for today. And I'll just keep this nearby. I'll bring it back on in a minute. Okay, so there's our push. There's our push. So breakout pullback, we are going to be looking to take a long if we can get a little bit of a pullback. Just waiting to see if it'll tick down and fill my trade. Let's take a look what kind of size we have here. So we have size on the bid at 25 and 24. Now it's up to 25 and 26. Size on the offer at 27. So it's pretty stagnant here. All right, we're into one, and for now, we would be willing to scale in. We're going to use this level down here as protection. So again, I have, oh, wait a minute, we're going in our favor here. Not paying much attention. All right, so we have one contract. We're going to look at 10 ticks as our profit target. All right. We're in at what, 26? Yeah, what is this number 27? I want to get rid of that. Missed this by a tick so far. Well, I'm sure we all know how much I love that. Gonna move our stop to break even. We've seen it happen too many times. Miss us by a tick, turn right back around, end up going against us. So if we're going to get stopped out, turn it into a break even trade, better than turning it into a losing trade. You've heard me say a few times over the last few days, and I'm getting tired of saying it to tell you the truth. There is a measure of luck in trading, meaning there's nothing up here. There's no level up here to use as a reason why that should have stopped where it did. And this is about to become about as bad a setup as you're gonna want, where missed it actually hit our profit target, but we didn't get filled. Came to stop us out to the tick, and now it's gonna potentially head back up to go to our profit target and beyond. Um, it happens. It happens. I'm getting a little tired of saying that. The timing, our timing of our entry was absolutely fine. Breakout, pull back long. Um, Looks like we're about to get to our 10 ticks, and maybe it happens. There's like I said, there's nothing up here to give you any cause for concern that okay, that's where it's going to stop its move. Um, Moving the stop to break even might have been a little bit premature. Maybe it's worth taking that risk, and it happens. No big deal. The reason why moving the stop to break even might be premature is because the concept of what would I do if I wasn't in a trade. Right now, I would have wanted to be long on that pullback. Again, it's basically a breakout pullback. Starting to get divergence in the 610 and the 987. So still right there, just it just came up and ticked right beneath our profit target. Or no, actually right there it broke. Right, we were in at 26, so that right there we would have gotten. So okay, no big deal. Let's wait for the next one. Let's get the news back up here. Sorry, I forgot to do that. I actually had it on my screen. I was going to get ready to tell you about it, and I just started talking about homework. Let's see if we can get any idea. I mean, there was some news that came out overnight. I'm sure if we research it, we'll know what caused the move that we got. But we had some some news today at 8:30. Some important numbers. We have more coming out in just a few minutes. 9:15. These generally are not important enough for me not to trade. 10 o'clock. Again, housing markets. Usually we don't see that cause a slowdown. So although there's a lot here, we've passed the one that I consider most important. And then normally on Wednesdays we would have our oil report, but because we have a holiday on Monday, it's been pushed back to Thursday. So let's take a peek here. So again, we're creating divergence down here, potentially. We really need to get back in before we can call it real divergence. VWAP has been holding, daily mid has been holding, opening range mid has been holding. Now that all sounds great. Right now they're all within one tick of each other. So if one holds, they all hold. But the nice thing is it's three different levels. And what that means is, remember, these levels work because other people look at them. It's not just us. Everybody is looking at something. And that's something, that middle of the day, whether you're looking at it because you're watching Fibonacci's and you're drawing out your Fibonacci's from the low to the high, and that's your 50%, or you're looking at it as just the middle of the day, which plenty of people do. VWAP is very, very much something that's watched even by the larger traders, not necessarily the OTF, not necessarily the other time frame, because they tend to not really care about any of this stuff. For the OTF traders, when it's time to enter the market, they don't care if we're at VWAP, not at VWAP, swing high. It doesn't matter. They're putting their orders in, and you'll see it. You'll see the way the market's going to move away. One thing though that we are not respecting right now is overnight low. We've come above it. We closed above it twice, but we have this right now potentially looks like it is holding as resistance. So unfortunately, we didn't get our profit target here. really chaps my ass. Oh man, I think that's three that I can remember. Three that I can remember since I started recording these that miss my profit target or get to my target. I don't get filled and it moves away. Now I can't tell you if that would have been any different if I was live. I didn't pay enough attention to how much was on the offer, how many contracts were on the offer when I placed my order. So where I would be in line in the queue, I really didn't pay attention to that, but it didn't fill me here, and that's what I'm gonna kind of go off of. Sometimes you'll hear me say, this is a fill we would get, and I have reason to say that. I can see when I put the order in, there was 21 contracts there, and now when we get there, there's 100, and we trade, and now there's only 50, which means 50 contracts were traded at that price. Well, I certainly would have been one of those 50 because I was in there when there were only 21. So but right, I didn't see that this time. I didn't look, so I don't want to just tell you that we would have been filled there. So we still have some divergence off the open, and I'm trying to think of what I could do so that I can draw on this a little bit more freely. You know what? It'll make it a little. This will make it a little more complicated for me, but I think it'll be better for you guys. Do this. Okay, this should work. So what I'm talking about with divergence, this really should help a lot. So you'll see right now, I'm expecting if we were to come and test down here, we'd have a nice flat line. But down here, in the meantime, we're heading upwards. Oh, I got to turn off here too. We're heading upwards there. So this might take me a minute, guys, but we're slow enough right now. We're not really doing anything. I guess now's as good a time as any. Let's also make that drawing tool a little bit better. Sorry, I'm doing stuff on another screen just to try to make this look a little better for you guys. I mean, I figure if I'm gonna be doing this, I should really try and make this as beneficial as possible to you. Let's see what that looks like. That's better. So we're sitting in quicksand here. I mean, we're really not doing anything. A little surprising for me, considering the size of the gap that we had. I really expected to see some movement come in one way or the other. I didn't have, when we write out our hypotheses, when we draw these out, something that I want to clarify to you. That's not the only way that the market can go. It's not the only thing that can happen. If we were treating this more as what I like to call, so you've heard of scalpers, you've heard of swing trading, day trading. There's one that I like to call level trading, right? So these levels that I draw out, I can trade these as my entries and profit targets. So I'm not doing a swing trade or a scalp, meaning I'm not predetermining my exit price if I'm doing my levels trading. I'm just trading levels. And in a case like here, the levels trade would be, I have my entry. I have a few good entries here. Could have entered right after this bullish candle here, so you could have entered right around here, this 31. Could have entered as you retest the low. I didn't, and I don't. And looking at it again, I still don't think I would have. Tell you the truth. Could have entered in the way I did, which was really good entry as far as I'm concerned. Breakout pullback, giving us a long right off the level. And now your profit target is this level here. Your stop loss is not just below this level, but we're going to use this swing low as what now becomes a dynamic level, a level that occurs during the day and can change. And you wouldn't get out of your trade until you either get to here or you get to here. Very simple. So that is another method of trading that requires even more patience, um, larger profit targets. Uh, usually your stop losses are still kind of tight. You don't look to get too far away with your stop losses. But it leaves you in trades like the one we're looking at now. It leaves you in a trade where, for us, we went up our 10 ticks, we got out. Sorry, we didn't get filled. Come back to break even, close out breaking even. Um, you know, sucks. Very, very frustrating. And so we'd still be in this trade with our stop loss here, but now you wouldn't be looking at well, I shouldn't say that. You because of where these levels are, you could actually turn this into a scale-in type of trade. But again, your profit target is not going to be determined by ticks; it'll be determined by level. So that's another way to do this. I try to combine them. I try to use my scale-in and scale out within reason, right? So we didn't scale in on this breakout. I'm sorry, we didn't go all in on this breakout pullback because there was still the potential that we're going to come down and test this level here. And if this level becomes the area of support, then we want to be sure we're scaling in down to here. At that point, our average price is much better, and our profit target becomes much better. But for me, right now we're getting nice divergence. Nice divergence on the 610. We have a little bit on the 987. We don't really have much on the 1597. So I'm not all that aggressive in trying to go long at this low here. The fact that this overnight low is holding the way it is, we keep trading above it, closing below it. Um, this is reading more downside to me than upside. Plus, we have a huge gap down, a lot of pressure right now for this to be heading down. So I'm not really all that interested. I'm not all that excited about trying to catch along yet. Yet that might change. We might see something switch, but for now we wait. For anyone that does end up having the chance to be on while I do the team viewer session, grab yourself a microphone. I don't mind you guys asking questions. I prefer it over a microphone versus in a chat box because I don't always see the chat box. And sometimes a question you ask leads to a good trade, right? And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's a question that um, is from a beginner that needs some explanation that I'm happy to give when I can. But the whole point of why I started doing this first and foremost is for I have family and friends that I really want to teach how to do this. This is good for me as well. Doing these reviews, the way I constantly yap, talking out what I'm looking at certainly helps me as well. This is as much for me as it is for somebody else. But what I'd love to see this evolve into, if it would help people, is a trading room. Not a cost, not one that people need to pay for. I'm not interested in that. But somewhere, when I have my brokerage firms, there was 80 guys in one, 40 in another, and we were all talking about what we saw. It was loud. It was helpful. For the most part, people were there to try to help other people make money. There's always those few bad apples. But I would love to have a place where a bunch of people that are comfortable with trading are there and talking about what they see. And if there was somebody ultimately that got on here and they're watching the ES and they're telling me, hey, you need to check this out. We're coming up to coming up to overnight high with negative divergence. I think that would be great. I think that would be an awesome thing for us to have. And I would limit it to how many people would be in there to some extent, and I would love there to be beginners in there that we could potentially try to help and see if we can't give a little good back in this world. That would be absolutely spectacular. The range we're sitting in right now is just absolutely abysmal. Low of the channel is 24, high is 37, and I'm exaggerating here because really we keep stopping at 35. That's only 11 ticks. You better be perfect. So although we see these big candles, this is actually some type of candlestick formation. I forget what this one's called. This one here, the up candle, 3 down candles, up candle. There's a name for that. Usually you want to see that happen in a trend, like you'd want to see a move up. Hey, I thought I stopped that. Sorry, one second. I did. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there we go. Okay. So you'd be looking to see a move up. That's interesting. I didn't realize I could do that. Let me try this another way. Sorry. Move up, then down candle, down candle, down candle, and a continuation of trend. So usually you see that formation. Usually you see that formation as part of a trend. Really just doing a bunch of nothing right now. I almost want to pull up the ES chart and do some homework on there. Um, I am going to set up a time. I don't know when it will be. I'll try to give a little bit of advance notice so that if somebody wants to jump on, they're welcome to live. But I'll also record it, where I'm going to clear out one of my homework charts. Sorry, I'm going to move around a bit, so you might hear some rustling in the microphone. Clear out the homework charts. At least the lines that I draw. Some of those are drawn automatically, and redo those so you can kind of see what we're doing. So nice divergence, 610, 15, sorry, 610, 987. Nice divergence, VPOC, this form of VPOC holding the support. Problem is overnight low, current high holding this resistance. So we're testing up here again. Let's see if we can get above this. There we go. Nice little sharp move. I'm not looking at this as an opportunity to go short. Right now, with this quick change, breakout, pullback, overnight high holds, middle of this channel holds, VWAP holds, I'm interested in potential long here. There was nice divergence down here. You really could have. I didn't want to. I didn't want to because like I said, I'm a little concerned. I was a little concerned with the overnight high holding. But you could have taken a trade down here with a tight stop. Not one that you'd be looking to scale into, because if you break the overnight low, now at this point the potential of really making its way down. But you could have tried to trade the bottom of this channel. I didn't, and I even in hindsight I wouldn't have. But if you're remember my 10 tick profit target. I mean, there is some reasoning to it. In crude oil, based on the data that I've seen, which I have not created, 15 ticks is what's considered a standard rotation. Harmonic variation is the words they use. So for me, 10 ticks is all right. I'm not catching all 15, but if I get in close to the bottom of that, close to the top of that, I should be able to get in and out fairly easily on one of my contracts. I think I mentioned the other day, I have friends of mine that I've met in the trading community and the futures trading community. They trade crude oil, and their target is 5 ticks. They get into a trade, their first target is always 5 ticks, and they go from there. So you might look at that as the way you choose to do it. You want a higher win rate, and you can do that. You can get a higher win rate for sure if you have a lower profit target. You want to be sure that you want to be sure that you're either very, very accurate, or your stops are tight as well, so that you're not getting a bunch of 5 tick winners and a bunch of 10 tick losers. But they would. I know how they trade. I think I mentioned again the other day. I know they trade overnight low. They look for a 5 tick bounce off overnight low. They would have been wrong on this one. They trade daily low, and they trade low of channels. They trade VWAP. So when this goes up and then comes back to test VWAP, they'll look to trade here for 5 ticks. When this goes up and comes to test VWAP again, they look to trade it. So they probably would have had a trade or two in there. Not, again, nothing for me, nothing that I look at there. The only one, the only one that if somebody wanted to argue as a potentially good trade would be because we have divergence as this is all forming. You know, you can maybe take a trade towards the bottom of the channel, have a stop loss towards overnight. Sorry, just below overnight low. I mean, excuse me, just below low of day. Yeah, could see it. Again, not one that I was all that interested in. My biggest concern was overnight low. My concern was if we hold below overnight low, then we're making our pushes down. Now, also, uh, this green line, I'm glad we drew this on there. So this green composite line here, this is a high volume node off of the composite. We know when you get into high volume areas, you tend to chop. So this is a high volume area. We know it because we drew it. I'm throwing an order in here right above overnight low. See if we can't get a breakout pullback. I'd want that to happen within the next few bars. So we'll see if we get that. I would be willing to scale into this actually. Yeah, okay, that's good. I would be willing to scale into this all the way down pretty much to the daily low, as long as we continue to show our divergence. If at some point we lose that, then we lose our reasoning for the trade, so we start watching it a little bit differently. Maybe we don't add onto our position. We start looking and saying, okay, we're not going to shoot for a profit target now. We might need to look at a trade that we're just trying to break even on, or take a small loss. Reasons change. We enter these trades for reasons. If those reasons disappear, the validity of the trade disappears. I know there are some people that say, when you have your rules, when you get into a trade, it's either a 15 tick or 8 tick or 40 tick profit target or X amount of stop loss, and at this number you move to break even. And I have that to an extent, and that extent is when I first get into a trade, I have a 10 tick profit target. If I get to that 10 tick profit target, I move my stop to break even. That's generally a rule. Now, so far, that rule's bit me in the ass twice in the last 2 days, or in the last few days, maybe even 3 times. So I do. I have some type of systematic rules in place, but also beyond that, I also have logic. Okay, why did I get into this? Really? See how it came down, ticked to our order entry and didn't tell us. Okay. Getting a little tired of this to the tick shit. So the other part of what I'm doing, where I do try to add a little bit now of variation, meaning it's not systematic, is okay. If I get this pullback and I get filled into this trade, and if I continue to get a pullback and I get filled in this trade, and I continue to get a pullback and I get filled in this trade, as long as I have my divergence, I'm keeping these orders out here. I'm staying in my trade. But if in this pullback, as I get filled here, we lose divergence, right? We come all the way down, and ultimately this levels out. This levels out. Well, okay, I've lost my divergence. Even if I've gotten into all three of my contracts at that point, my reasoning for the trade is gone. So I have to keep that in mind. And at that point, I would be changing, and I'm not necessarily shooting for a 10 tick stop loss. If I see that divergence is getting lost, and at the time I'm in a 3 tick loser or a 1 tick profit, you know what? If my reasoning is gone, I should be looking to close my trade as best as possible. Not, it's even there's going to be some level of skill that comes into play. But that's the idea. The idea is you get into trades for reasons, and if those reasons are gone, what would you be doing if you weren't in a trade? That's the concept. And you heard me say that earlier when we moved our stop loss, and that's something that I need to start thinking about. When I moved my stop loss there to break even, if I wasn't in a trade where I ended up closing that trade at break even, where I ended up selling my contract, is probably where I'd be looking to buy a contract if I wasn't in a trade. I need to pay attention to that. Here's 9:30, so sometimes we get a quick push. I'd love to see this give me a nice move down. Let me get into this trade. Okay. So far, that's a no. All right, so we're going to get rid of these. No problem. Right now, with the way this is stair stepping. And again, this, like I said, you might have found the trade in here. We did find one, and it just closed us, as poorly as it could. But so be it. We did find a decent trade entry here. But now, as we start creating consolidation after consolidation, we're still looking for these breakout pullbacks. This one missed us by one tick. A lot of this one tick stuff, and I'm going to tell you right now, if that's what it's going to mean for me to be wrong, I'll take it. If more and more trades, now look, of course I'd rather get to my price point, get me out of my trade, get me into my full positions, 3 contracts for now. But if me being wrong means I missed by a tick, that is not a question of timing. That's a question of luck. And I showed you when we got up to here and we stopped at 30. No, so we had gotten to here in this candle, we got to 36 in this little bearish candle here. We got to 36, and I wonder why we didn't get filled now that I'm looking at it. No, sorry, yeah, we got to 37. I'm sorry. Let me do this. Let me see what I thought we were in it. You know what I messed up here? Oh man. I had my profit target off. We were in at 26. Profit target should have been 36. It got to 37. Bad Eddie. Bad Eddie. Oh man. So my bad. My bad. I'm going to be looking forward to replaying that and making sure that what I'm saying is right. All right, let's take a look at what's happening now. So we continue to push here again. Missed our entry by one tick. Reasoning, perfect. Okay, breakout, pullback. Looking for an opportunity to go long. We've held above overnight low. We're starting to watch for this to act as support. All right, so now we've had a little consolidation, a breakout. Not necessarily an immediate look for a breakout pullback to go long, although right now, if we did get a pullback, I'd still absolutely be looking to go long. And we've added some levels down here. We have VWAP, overnight low, middle of the day, opening range mid down here. So we have a lot of support levels here. Nice divergence from the open till now. That could go away as we get to our price points, but let's put an order in here. We might actually have to move that up. We might have to look to start scaling in a little higher. Just watching to see if we try to come back into this area. This is actually a little bit tricky for me as to where to place my order, because if it comes below where these two little bottoms are, look at the ES. ES is falling hard. I'm going to cancel this trade right now. ES is really getting hammered. And not to say that oil and ES trade in correlation, but again, from my old trading days, I'm just so used to actually we used to watch the S&P futures. They were getting beat up. Everything tended to get beat up. So I'm just gonna hang out for a second here. Still looking for a pullback long. So we tested a level here. This level held strong bearish bar here. Look at ES just tanking. starting to get real interested in a long here. I think we're gonna start building a position here. We're gonna take our first here, and we're gonna be willing to scale. Where we get in here? 36. Oh, here we go again. That was 26. That was 26. We're gonna take our first position here. We're going to be willing to add some down here. Let's get this out of the way. Now, this is actually a scenario where let's look at what our 10-tick profit target will put us. So we're in at 36. Let's actually do this right this time, if you don't mind. I'm really sorry about some of the mistakes I'm making are really basic. I mean, at least I think I made a mistake there. I'm actually going to watch the video just to see if I'm right. Maybe, no, we'll see. I mean, obviously, I had to have been wrong if I didn't get filled. You know, when we were in at 26, profit target should have been 36. For some reason, I didn't get a fill here, but we traded at 37. Maybe the way this candle formed, we opened, got to 36, came down, stopped me out, and then went to 37. That's possible, but that's what I want to see the video. Regardless, at this point, we're in a trade. We have a profit target at 10 ticks. So here's kind of one of those areas where I'm going to get away. Remember in the homework, we talked about how we really don't have levels above us. We added some. We put some low volume nodes in. We put a high volume node in. And so the reason I'm not taking my 10-tick profit target is because I only have one contract. And from what I can tell here, again, I have no reason to stop here. There's nothing. There's nothing to have called this the place where the trade should end. So what I'd like to do in this case, I'm still willing to scale in. I still have divergence. I mean, everything is what I want to see right now. But when we move, I'm much more interested in, well, not are we just going to get to high a day? I mean, I have no negative divergence to tell me we're going to stop at high a day. So I'm looking at this one as one that I'm going to try to get to a level. I'm going to get a few ticks. I'm 3 ticks ahead of this level, arbitrary number. So we did have here's our 10-tick profit target. I'm debating moving my stop to break even. I'm not yet. And the reason I'm not is if we pull back, even if we pull all the way back down here, I don't believe we would start showing divergence. So I'd like to stay in this trade. Meaning, I don't think we'd show divergence if we came down. Let me try and draw. I might move the chart, but I'll put it back. If we came down here, I don't believe that would ultimately create enough of a movement here that it would come below, that we would now be below here. Meaning, I think we would still have a positive skew. So I think we'd have divergence if we would have come down. So we're about to test, or we just tested daily high. Let's see if we can't get through this. Lot of contracts at 51.50 on the offer. Oh, they just went away. Never mind. Yeah, they're back. I'm purposely not putting that information on this screen yet. I don't want to overwhelm you guys with information. And that information tends to be pointless at times. Okay, so as I get better at understanding it myself, which honestly might mean nothing. I mean, I understand it. I know what it means. I understand what contracts mean. Of course, I mean that's not complicated. Okay, at this point, I'm certainly moving my stop to break even. I'm actually moving it quite above there. We're going to come beneath this bar for our stop loss. And let's see what happens here. All right, so we're currently locked in. We're locked in to about 7 ticks. Wouldn't be thrilled if that's where it stops me out of, but let's see what we get. I'm tightening my stop because at this point, from where we're trading, to hit my profit target, it's only 4 ticks. I'm not giving up 10 ticks to do it. So that's it. If it wants to turn here and take me out, it's welcome to. If it wants to spike and get to my profit target, I'd like that even more. But I'm not willing to give up 10 ticks of profit to gain another 4 from where our high was. Okay, there we go. Nice trade. Nice trade. At this point, it might come up here. That may happen. I meant to cancel that. I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay. Nice. Still need to cancel that. All right. A lot of lag. I might actually. They have servers that you can rent month to month that supposedly give you much better fills or much quicker speed with your order entry. So, well, I might look at that too. Great trade. Great trade. Okay. Currently, we're still looking long. Right. We're still looking for long opportunities. We're real happy with that trade. I mean, I don't know that I can have been happier with the way we entered that trade. Honestly, the only thing I did wrong is potentially not headed in when we came and tested overnight low. You know, I had my scale in a little below that. So really just a good trade. That's nicely done. We see that we're starting to get in an uptrend. We see that overnight low is starting to hold. So we're going to use this as our support level. You know, we get fucked on this trade here. We get a pullback, get another opportunity to get into the trade. We get in at 36 this time. We got screwed at the 26, but anyway, we get in at 36 this time. We don't scale in. I had my scale in set at 31. Would have needed to have been the 33 to be assured scale in. And we don't leave our profit target. Honestly, I don't even know where we got out. What was the price point? 52. Okay, so we get into 36 out of 52, 16 tick trade. We don't use our 10 tick profit target, and we didn't use it because there was nothing here. There was no reason to assume that we were stopping here. Honestly, there's no reason to assume that we should have stopped here. You know, following my stop, bringing my stop up here was just simply a risk versus reward play. We got to 57. My profit target was 51, so that's 4 more ticks from where we were. We closed out at, what did I say it was, 52? I'm getting old. 52, right? So I risked 5 ticks on the way back to gain 4 ticks on the way up. I got no problem with that. I don't give a shit right now if it comes and spikes right through my original profit target, because all I would have gained is 4 ticks. So really nicely done. I'm happy, not just because of the profit that was made on it, but the reasoning. The every step of that trade was done properly, at least the way I want to do it. And right now, we're still looking for the same idea. Breakout. Let's see if we can't get a pullback somewhere into this range. Now our entries are certainly going to be above overnight low. We're still close enough to it that we're going to use it as a scale in. Right. So we're gonna put a entry here, kind of in the middle of this consolidation that we had. See if we can't get a breakout pullback to about half of that and give us a chance to go long. If we do get in here, we are going to be willing to scale. And we'll use overnight low really again as the scale point. And as long as we have divergence, I'll still be willing to scale. I'll still be willing to come in, and we're getting a little bit further away now from the daily low. So my stops are going to have to expand a little. So got to keep that in mind. Actually, give me a second here. Now again, if this pullback doesn't happen quickly, we're going to cancel our order, and then we'll just watch it if it makes its way back down, kind of like what we did here. We didn't get the pullback as fast as I wanted, and then we just started watching it as we finally did get down. It was like, okay, we're here, we're not blasting through it. Let's take our first contract. This will be another one of those where, unless we get a sharp move down here. Oh, look, ES recovered. ES recovered nicely. All the way back. Look at that. I would love to have done some homework on that one and see if there's any particular level as to why it turned around where it did. All right, we're going to cancel this trade here. We closed another candle. Definitely VPOC potentially could hold the support. I don't just want to put a trade in. Again, if it happened quicker, maybe I would have. But we're going to wait. We're going to see if we start. We're going to see what comes next, basically. I don't really have much of a prediction here. With the exception of getting robbed, and I'm sorry to keep bringing it up, but the reason I'm doing it Well, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm a moron, but really no reason to keep talking about it, but I am going. With the exception of getting robbed out of that one trade, we had two nice trades today. Each one only had one contract. We would have liked to have had more, and we'll get better at kind of determining when it's time to scale, when it's not. But not a big day. Would be a $260 day. Our goals when we're trading our three contracts and we're better at getting into a full position, knowing when it's time to enter or so on. Our goal for mind you, this is for the first hour of the day. Is between $600 and $900 for three contracts. Very, very attainable. Very attainable. Easily would have been attained today if we had our three contracts on for both of those trades. Easily. I'm sorry, if we had not gotten screwed on this one, meaning I didn't make the mistake as to where I put my profit target. I desperately want. Let me see. Is there a way I can see? I can't believe that I fucked that up. I can. I mean, I'm human and a fairly flawed one, a very flawed one. Let's see here. Time 9:08, 9:12. All right, where is mine? Oh, we put a. Oh wait, I think I'm looking at the wrong deck. That's what I did. Oh, oh yeah, I am. Sorry. There we go. 18. Yeah, we're still consolidating. Okay. All right, on the 18th, first trade of the day entered at 26. Looking to scale at 21. Look at that. I had my profit target at 51.37. Gosh darn it. So again, I apologize. These are not mistakes those are not the mistakes I should be making. I mean, something plus 10. I mean, really, that's just careless. That's careless. I really, really apologize for that. Not from a dollars and cents standpoint. It's not costing me anything, but from the fact that I'm trying to teach you guys to do this and making careless mistakes like that. And it's part of the. It shouldn't be happening to me with my level of experience. That should never be happening. But that is part of the mistakes that you can ultimately make. Accidentally buying when you meant to sell, buying more than you intended to. When you go to close out a trade, accidentally adding on to your trade. These happen. These are mistakes that happen. And I guess on one extent, I'm happy that you're seeing them happen to me. But on the other extent, I'd really like you to kind of see the accuracy as to what we're doing. And that one stupid thing. Think about what that changes. We're in at 26, out at 36. Now we're flat. We have no position. We come back down here. We're getting back into a trade. We're entering here. We're not selling to break even, which is something else we have to discuss. Moving our break even into the middle of an area that we want to be, adding on. But we'll discuss that at a later date. But we're taking a new trade here now. I mean, look what that one stupid mistake does. Here it costs you $100. You're getting into a new trade. Let's just assume it's one contract. We still would have used our 10 tick because at this point, the fact that it held here, honestly, I shouldn't say that. We really didn't have anything here. We didn't have anything at the time. We probably let's just assume you use your 10 tick. That's another $100. So there's $200. Another you have a $360 day on one contract in 49 minutes. Come on, that's now I'm come oning myself, not you, but how could that's just crazy that one tick, one mistake of one tick, that's what it ultimately accounts to. In our case, it cost us $200. Live and learn. So we just continue. Now at this point, we're getting close to 10 o'clock. Well, there's still plenty of time to take a trade if one sets up. No divergence. If you take a look down at the bottom here, go over here, just heading straight up. Everything is showing as strength here. Nothing up here to tell us to take a short. We're not at any level that matters. Remember at the homework we talked about being careful, trying to get short up here, and we created a couple of levels. We put and these are real, low volume node off of the composite, high volume node off of the composite. Above here, we have a couple more low volume nodes that you can't yet see on the chart. But these spots, this spot where we just stopped here, it relates to, there is a line that we'll look at in tomorrow. I'll do it now. You know what? Hang on 1 second. ES just took a nice little quick only a point or so. I'm just watching to see if we pull back. I might be interested in taking a long, you know, off of VPOC, middle of the day, overnight low, and then that becomes my scale. I'm not looking to see if we test all the way down here, but we didn't get that pullback. Let me do something here. So one of the other, when it comes to volume profile, one of the other levels that matter is called value area. So you see these dotted blue lines? These are value area highs and value area lows. And it doesn't matter whether it's a high or a low, but we have seen, I have seen over the limited time I've been watching, I have seen these act as levels as well. I purposely have not added them onto our chart yet because I didn't want to get it too convoluted. What's going to start happening is I'm going to start changing how I draw these out. Right now, I just have them as, you know, long horizontal lines. I don't know where they started. I don't know, you know, where they come from. And with the VPOC, like the dotted lines, it's fairly easy. I can just go back and find where that was. With a microcomposite VPOC, it's not always as easy because, as you saw in this today in the morning, sometimes I'll draw a really small one just to get my VPOC from it, mark it on the chart, and then make it disappear. So I'm going to change how I do that to make it easier for us to find. And then I also, what I haven't done much of, like you see how I pulled off a swing level today because it was broken and traded through and so on, and it was obviously no longer a level that was being respected. I'm going to start doing that for VPOCs too, not necessarily because they're no longer naked. Naked definitely has a value. It's more interest to us if it's a naked VPOC than a non-naked VPOC. But those VPOCs, and we've seen it ourselves, those VPOCs tend to hold it. Just did it right here. This is not a naked VPOC. This is a VPOC from an earlier day that we put on the chart, that we made sure carried over to this chart. This is not a naked VPOC. This price level hit right here gave us some great trade opportunities today. Two at least, three if you were counting this bullish bar, if you decided to get in on there too. There's a room, there's a chat room where guys go. It's like $7 a month. Let me find this. Oh my god, that's a picture of my son and I faking that he's pulling my eyes out. That's my belly right there. See, I want to make sure you guys can get a good look at that. Draw line here. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Hang on. So let me get back to what I was actually doing here. So there's a trading room that oh come on. It's $7 a month, and I've actually never been in here. I just joined this the other day. There was a guy on Twitter. He was tweeting some stuff, and it was pretty. I kind of liked what he was talking about. You're certainly welcome. Okay, so let's see. It is today. Wait, March's contract? No. We'll be trading March's contract tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow we're gonna roll over into the March contract. Yeah, I don't usually do that till Thursday. So I'm not gonna bore you with the software end of this. We'll do that at another time. But I'm going to at least get us prepared. for I guess we could have rolled over that. Here we are testing the bottom of this channel. Kind of just missed that one, but that's okay. It's my trading is done for the day. But if you're watching, we have a test at the bottom of this channel. Good potential trade opportunity here. If you were trading, you should be long right now. One contract, looking to scale in all the way down through overnight low. Yeah, there's nothing to say otherwise. And as long as overnight low holds, profit target. Now, if you're long down here, if you got in at the 46, which is where I would have been looking, 56 should be your first profit target. Although we do not have a reason for this to be the end of the channel so much, the end of this range, it has been. So we just have to kind of respect that. It's been tested and held. So I would, if you're in one contract, if you're in one, I wouldn't use it as my profit target. I'd come to break even if this holds again. But if you're in multiple, my first profit target would be here at the 56, and then I would be under here underneath the 60. I'd be back to again 61, 62. Really no more than 62, maybe even 61 as another profit target. And then I would be holding for this high volume node off the VPOC. Somewhere. Now keep in mind, again, remember, as we move in that direction, a couple things can happen. We haven't seen it yet because I haven't yet, gotten into this type of rhythm where you could be in a trade. You got 3 contracts. It's heading in your favor. You get out of your first one at 10 ticks. It continues to head in your favor. You get out of another one. It pulls back to where it's another good entry opportunity. Get in there. Go add back on a contract. Nothing wrong with that. Managing a trade. I mean, look, you get into a strong trend day, and you get into a few contracts. Technically, you could have one contract that you stay in the entire day, but you're constantly managing it. That you're out of one, so now you only have 2. You're out of another, now you only have 1. You get a nice pullback, now you're into a second. Depending on how you're trailing your stop. And again, all of us will do that somewhat differently. I will always show you what it is I'm doing. I'm not obviously I'm not trying to hide anything. But at this point, I'm going to call it a day. Again, sorry about that mistake earlier. It really could have been a nice day to show you. But if you guys have any questions, just at this point, shoot me an email. For those of you who can, send me a text, or I'm going to start posting these videos up on YouTube. I already have. Feel free to go on there and put a comment in or something that maybe I'll be able to see and answer some questions. Okay. All right. Have a great day.